Oh, yeah, baby. You're on the Clark the Shark Beyond an Extravaganza. It's a show, it's a talk radio show, #1 worldwide, syndicated, WABC Radio New York. That's all irrelevant, you guys. When you come to the Clark the Shark show, you're getting brain food. My brain is smarter than all of you. You guys, I'm not being a dick or a fucking asshole or a douchebag when I say that. It's just true. Because I grew up listening to Frank Zappa, and a lot of you didn't. There's some of you who think you know Zappa, or, maybe you do, or you got into Zappa recently. But me, Clark the Shark, I was into Zappa when I was 13 at Newton Middle School in Torrance. And there were just a few kids into Zappa. I mean, there was a kid named Jim Aviani. He was not just into Zappa. He was into all kinds of shit. Brian Eno, David Bowie. And I fucking hated that kid because I was like, fuck, now I got to go fucking find more Zappa records. And I was only a kid. I was 13. I wasn't old enough to do shit. I didn't want to go to record stores. I didn't have the money, or, I had no transportation. I had like a Strand Cruiser, and somebody in the South Bay would always steal it. You know how that is. Oh, my brother Bert would steal literally hundreds of bikes, towels, radios. If you left something down at Burnout or Topaz or Torrance or Rad Beach, Bert would fucking take it, you guys. I'm not kidding. Now, my big vinyl collection of records was right next to Bert's room downstairs at 251 Paseo de Gracia, as is legend. And Bert would never fucking steal my shit. He would steal fucking everything off the beach in Torrance, dude. Rat, Burnout, Hermosa Beach, Strand Cruisers, radios. His whole fucking room was filled with shit where we literally had to call, what is that, like 1-800-GOT-JUNK, or back in the 70s, 80s, I don't know what you called it. But we had to take all his fucking shit to the dump or something with a U-Haul, or like a big metal bin pulled up in front of our house at 251 Paseo de Gracia. I'm not kidding, you guys. And we would be like, Bert, why do you put all this fucking shit in your room? He'd be like, hey, Clark, it's none of your business. Hey, pal, I found this. I found this stuff. Like, he always found it, like in a taxi cab, you guys. Bert he never fucking stole a thing. The Torrance police would come to our house, and they'd be like, where's Bert? And I'd be like, dude, you guys, I don't know. And like, dude, my house was fucking crazy. There was always fights. There was always the cops. I was always calling the cops on my 3 older brothers, Bert, Jeff, and Doug. And then this went on after I moved out. My sister Rachel was born in 1976. And then fucking when I moved away, she started calling the cops on them. It was crazy shit, you guys. But the good news is my copy of 200 Motels by Zappa was never stolen. I would play it, and, it was scratchy. I got it at the Rhodium down in Torrance, or maybe Go Boy. I don't know, where I got it. I don't even think Go Boy was around in the 70s or wherever I got it, dude. Maybe Jim Aviani gave it to me. I don't know. I fucking hated Jim Aviani. The guy was such an intellectual. He'd be like, what do you know about Andy Warhol? And I'd be like, fuck you, dude. He's all, you don't even know about Andy Warhol, Sharky. And I'd be like, dude, I will learn soon. I was only 12, 13, 14. I did not like Jim Aviani. This fucking kid was a genius. And wherever he is today, I can't imagine how fucking awesome and amazing his vinyl collection must be in 2024. And I'm sure he's somewhere like, haha, I'm still better and smarter than Clark the Shark. And I'm like, dude, here's the advantage I have over you, Jim. Were you in a band? Do you play an instrument? Are you known like me worldwide, Clark the Shark? And he's like, well, maybe not, Garth, but I still got a better vinyl collection than you, Shark. And I'm like, I know you probably fucking got 200 Motels by Zappa. You probably fucking got everything, you know, Velvet Underground and the Stooges and all that fucking shit. But I still know more about punk than you, Jim. He's like, no, I got into punk. I know it. See, dude, this goes on and on forever. He's not the only one. There were all these other guys in the South Bay coming around my house trying to challenge me or something. Like, I got a new, unopened copy of Zappa, Weasels Rip My Flesh from Europe, Sharky. Unopened with the plastic still on it. Vintage. It's the real album. It's the right when the album came out. Or like Uncle Meat or something. And I'd be like, my God, dude, this is getting retarded. A bunch of fucking losers competing for who knows Zappa the best. I mean, eventually, dude, I kind of got out of Zappa because when you do get into Zappa, there's this big intellectual battle for who knows Frank Zappa best, or who knows the Velvet Underground best, who knows the most about Lou Reed or Bowie or the Stooges or Iggy Pop. This goes on and on forever, you guys. And after a while, I just start listening to like Foreigner and like Zebra because I'm like, fuck it. I don't want to compete. And it's a lot of money to buy Zappa albums. Believe me, I must have spent over $3,000 trying to collect every fucking Frank Zappa album when I was younger. And I didn't have a lot of money, you guys. I washed dishes at Cortopassy's Deli down on Avenue I in Redondo or something, right? You know, later on I cleaned pools for this guy named Walt in Torrance at A to Z Pools, and or whatever I could do up in Bel Air, mowing lawns for my brother Greg at Mr. Ida's or something like that. I was always scrounging around for money so I could buy a fucking Frank Zappa album, and then I could be like, I got 200 Motels. What do you got? It's just retarded, you guys. It doesn't prove anything out there for all of you on YouTube. You don't need to come on here trying to show how smart you are and how well you know Zappa and how well you know the underground. Trust me, you won't know as much as me, Clark the Shark. You can try, and I'm sure there's guys that know more than me, who are really older than me. I was born in 65, you guys. I'm only 58, turning 59, April 27, 2024. But there's guys born in like 1945 and 55, dude, that know more than Zappa, or that not, they don't, no one knows more than Zappa. I said they know more about Zappa than yours truly, me, Clark the Shark, from the Golden EIB Sharkerphone. It's not a microphone, it's a Sharkerphone. I'm not perfect, you guys. I know a lot of people in the South Bay and all over the country now are like, Clark the Shark, he's Jesus Christ. He's the second coming. He really is it, you guys. The Bible's real. Clark is God. I'm not fucking God, you guys. I'm just a regular, ordinary man like Rick Emmett of Triumph would write about. I'm just another ordinary man, you guys, who knows a lot about Frank Zappa, and maybe more than you. 200 Motels is the best Zappa album, you guys, the soundtrack, 1971. I don't care what anybody says, and I think a lot of Zappa fans agree. Maybe not the most commercial of the Frank Zappa albums. Maybe some people might think it is, but it's busy songs. There's a lot going on. It's a lot to listen to get through it all. But it's when you do listen to this, you're going to find out it's more atmospheric, melodic, and all that shit. All music gives it a 4 out of 5, you guys. But these songs, you guys, I have to break them down semi-fraudulent Direct from Hollywood Overture, amazing, you guys. Only 201 and Mystery Roach. The title of that, I kind of understand living at 251. You guys, I want to tell you a story right now. I saw an albino roach. You know how roaches are brown or whatever? I saw a white roach in amongst the roaches. I'm not saying that my house as a child was infestated or whatever the word is, or infiltrated with roaches. We rarely had a roach, and we would spray them with like Raid or Black Flag. But to me, the mystery roach, like ZAPPA, was that white albino roach that I saw. I never forgot it. And I always thought, like, that's the Clark the Shark roach. It's different from all the others, you guys. 1-800-4FRONT-NE-255 on the fabulous Clark the Shark show. Yeah, you guys, I'm like that albino roach. Dance of the rock and roll interviewers. Only 48 seconds, but interesting, you guys. This tries to be like the Who, Tommy, like a little rock opera. It's got these little short songs. This town is sealed tuna sandwich. Tuna fish promenade. It's weird, you guys, but you're going to enjoy this. I said this is the best ZAPPA album, but maybe not, because a couple albums before this, I should actually say mini albums before it, called We're Only in It for the Money, 1968. That might be the best ZAPPA album, as everyone knows, but maybe not. It's always, all of them are so excellent and well made and well done and overproduced to perfection or something. Dance of the Just Plain Folks. It's hard to say, you guys, what's the best Frank Zappa album. And believe you me, I've listened to all 261 of them, or how many there are, and I can't decide. I even think like Joe's Garage and, Shut Up and Play Your Guitar. Those are really interesting. Shut Up and Play Your Guitar some more. His shit gets... when he starts playing with all these technical wizards, Joe Satriani or Steve Vai or whatever it is, I'm not even sure, but it just gets fucking amazing. And now Dweezil Zappa, of course, wants to play Frank Zappa, but Ahmet Zappa, the other guy, he calls himself Rick. He won't let Dweezil play Zappa without paying the family royalties or pay the piper, pay the toll. The sealed tuna bolero. Lonesome Cowboy Bert. That might be about my brother Bert, you guys. I'm not sure, but side one is fucking insane. I want you to buy the CD of this. It's entertaining and it never lets up. And touring can make you crazy. It can, you guys. I don't really know it because I never got signed, but I went and I was on the tour bus with that band Airborne, and those guys looked tired, and not just them, but their whole crew, like all their roadies, and man, they looked lonely, like they were far from home. I'll never forget it. Would you like a snack? I did. When I was on the tour bus, I was like, he's like, hey man, you want to drink a shot? They had like little Jägermeisters on the tour bus. And I was like, no, you guys, I don't drink. And he's like, well, would you like a snack? I never forgot that. I thought of Zappa, you guys. Redneck Eats. If you drive for Uber Eats, you might know what that's about. Centerville. All these songs are talking about like touring, life on the road of a rock band. It's kind of a little bit like the Kinks, Lola versus Power Man and the Money Go Round. I honestly think this album was in some weird way trying to copy that. It's different though. It's apples to oranges. It's nothing like that, but I get the same vibe, you guys. She painted up her face. Just a lot of these songs are short or something, you guys. It's a rock opera. It is. But this album makes the transition from earlier Zappa to that fucked up 70s, mid to late period Zappa. Janet's big dance number. It's all fucking amazing. I want to play you this now, but YouTube will ban and delete my account. Half a dozen provocative squats. It's all about like roadies and chicks and getting fucked up, or, you know, Zappa didn't do any drugs, but like I say, you guys, or he didn't drink either. He would only smoke like 2 packs a day or maybe 3 packs a day, drink tons of coffee. But I think everyone around him was doing drugs and alcohol galore. And, you know, this movie, of course, it has Keith Moon in it. It's got Ringo Starr. The movie's incredible. I want you to watch it. It's as good as The Monkey's Head. I think it's trying to copy The Monkey's Head. And, of course, The Monkey's Head is about the monkeys dying and going to hell. And I think this movie, 200 Motels, is like the same thing, Mysterioso. Shove it right in. Oh, God. You guys, it's a family show. I'm going to keep it clean. But I always think that's like Zappa with some groupie. You know, he just wants to shove it right in. Lucy's seduction of bored violinist and postlude. Prosy. The best song on side 2, you guys, is the last one. It's amazing, but it's all amazing. Is this as good and is this as funny as We're Only in It for the Money? I think they're equal, you guys. That album is fucked up and crazy. There's incredible musicians here, you guys. Everyone here. I got to break down these musicians like Ainsley Dunbar, and it's just fucking awesome. Everybody. Now, it's not the original Mothers. George Duke, trombone, keyboards. Of course, you know about him, and Ian Underwood. Big Jim Sullivan. Awesome. And the orchestration on this album's incredible, you guys. Of course, Ainsley Dunbar, who later played with Bowie. My view on Ainsley Dunbar is he's maybe the greatest drummer in drumming other than Carl Palmer and or Bobby Caldwell from Captain Beyond. You know, you could make an argument for Ian Pace and Keith Moon. A bunch of these fucking guys are incredible. But I love Ainsley Dunbar. He's got the fastest snare, the fastest rolls. His hands are so fast on the snare, you guys. He's incredible. Ainsley Dunbar. And Ruth Underwood, percussion. Awesome. Of course, Jimmy Carl Black, the Indian of the group. And another weird thing about this album, Howard Kaylan from the Turtles and Mark Volman, vocals and photography from the Turtles. A couple of geniuses, you guys. I love the Turtles. I especially love the fucking album that Ray Davies produced. It's fucking amazing, you guys. Jim Pond's backing voices. And it's just got all these fucking people, Theodore Bickle, narrator. And then, of course, I got to include the orchestra, you guys, that's in all this shit. It's the orchestration here. It's just, I want you to buy this at Amazon, iTunes, Spotify right now in 2024. If you're only 18 years old and you were born, I guess it's 2008 or 2006, I'm not sure. If you were born in 2006, you were born 5 years after 9/11. 9/11 is that day that Mohammed Atta and those terrorists from Al-Qaeda flew those jets into my Twin Towers in New York. That's very personal to me, Clark the Shark. You don't remember 9/11, or, you know, maybe your liberal Democrat teacher hasn't educated you about the importance of 9/11. If you were born in 2006, you've only seen 9/11 at YouTube or watching documentaries or films or TikTok or, you know, Vimeo or, you know, something that you've heard about 9/11. You weren't alive that day. You were dead. You weren't here yet in 2006, so you don't know about 2001 and what happened that day. But if you were born 5 years after 9/11, in 2006, and you're only 18 right now in 2024, you are the person that I want to get into 200 Motels and Frank Zappa. It's very important that you come here all the time, also daily too, also to the Clark the Shark show. And always be here, you guys. If you're a young person, just a teenager, you might even just be 13 years old, and you were born in 2011. You're getting, 2011 to me is like last week. I was doing laundry or folding clothes, and 2011 was just yesterday to me, Clark the Shark. I'm 58, going on 59 soon. But you're only 13. You were born in 2011. I want you to learn about Frank Zappa. If you were born in 2013, you were born like a long ass fucking time after 9/11. You don't even know about it. Your liberal Democrat teacher isn't teaching you properly about it. And Fox News and Hannity are probably just trying to rub it into your skull. They want you to vote for Trump and, vote Republican because of it. I don't really do that. I want you to make up your own mind what you vote for. And I'm sure that Frank Zappa would feel and do the same, you guys. In 200 Motels, this rock opera concept soundtrack of an album. It is a soundtrack, you guys, but to me, I think of this as just another Frank Zappa album. It's incredible. It's in detail. The orchestration is amazing. Ainsley Dunbar. Just buy this just for Ainsley Dunbar. And all those other fucking incredible musicians. It's also very interesting that the two guys from the Turtles, Volman and Kalen, are here. They didn't last long with Zappa. And even they were like, the fucking guy doesn't pay anyone. He takes all the money or some shit. And they just quit the band. Or maybe, when Zappa got attacked on stage or something, that was their excuse and their way to sneak away, from the new mothers. And I'm still kind of bitter at Zappa for pink slipping the old mothers. I liked that band. They weren't as technical or incredible as the musicians that he would come to play with, you guys. But everybody would say, we did everything Frank told us or asked us to do. We fucking did all we could for this guy, and he still got rid of us. And, me, Clark the Shark, I'm a little bitter about it. There's also a thing where he didn't pay the band properly, or he ran off with all the money. I don't know if that's true or not true. I've heard that. And then his new band, the New Mothers, I don't know what went down there, but I know that Ainsley Dunbar left Zappa and he went to David Bowie. And Adrian Belew later on would do the same thing. He would leave Zappa and go to David Bowie. It just makes me fucking wonder. I love Frank Zappa's music, you guys. But the person, if I tried to hang out with Frank Zappa, I don't know if that would work. Or maybe even more sad and weird, maybe me and Frank would get along. And that scares me even more. And worse, because this guy was genius, maybe. Eccentric, definitely, just like Clark the Shark, With me, it's no maybe on genius. It's definitely genius, eccentric, definitely, and fucked up and weird. Completely. But Frank Zappa wasn't like me. He wasn't all funny and all that. The people who knew Frank Zappa, they would say he's really serious when you're in, especially in the studio or in the vault up in Laurel Canyon. You got to walk on eggshells, and you really got to earn his respect or regard or revere and all that fucking shit. Because he was a genius, you guys. This guy was incredible, and he was an intellectual, super intelligent guy. You literally couldn't talk to Frank Zappa. He couldn't talk to anyone because no one was on his level. And I think in the South Bay, Redondo Torrance, they try to say, well, Clark the Shark doesn't know what he's talking about. He's always full of shit. He lives in his own little world. And I'm sure if Frank Zappa was only 5'5" or 5'6", he never would have made it in music. And people would have said that about him too. and maybe me, Clark the Shark, if I was 6'3", they might fucking love me or like me more or something like that. I don't know. Maybe not. But I still wouldn't have the talent and genius of Frank Zappa and 200 Motels and all these other incredible albums that he did, you guys. It was very sad when he died, but I didn't shed a tear. I was more like, man, Zappa is dead. He's gone. It wasn't like Harry Nilsson. I kind of shed a tear that day. It wasn't like John Lennon when he died. When Zappa died, I was just dumbfounded because I knew he had cancer. I knew it was bad. It was prostate cancer, where he couldn't piss and all that for a few years, and thought it was, inflamed bladder, or what do they call it, like a enlarged prostate or bladder infections or UTI or some shit. And then it turned out to be prostate cancer. Who knows, maybe if he didn't do all the AMA medical shit and all the chemo, he may have lived a little longer. Like we all know, once they give you all that chemo shit, you're pretty much fucking dead. You either survive or you don't. Nowadays, in 2024, if you get cancer, they got really good shit now where they point the laser or whatever it is right on the cancer cells, and they only kill them and not the healthy tissue around them. Right here on the Clark the Shark Show. God bless them if they do have good cancer shit today. That's awesome. Me, with my skin cancer, I know they have to dig it out and scoop it out with knives or spoons, and it's really bloody. And I'm like, why don't you guys just burn the cancer? And they're like, we can't do that, Sharky. That I think it's because if you burn it, it spreads it and makes it worse. And they want to cut the whole thing. And they even want to cut around it and get the part of the healthy flesh around the cancer, moles or tumors. That's what they did to me on the back of my left leg, and also on my back and elsewhere on my body, on my right arm, a big red it was just a basal cell carcinoma. But the thing on the back of my leg, I know was malignant melanoma. And I, Clark the Shark, should probably be dead or dying right now. And yet I'm still here. I haven't seen any new malignant melanomas pop up on me. But who knows, dude? Maybe inside me, the liver, all those organs like the pancreas, the stomach, and all that shit. You get cancer in those, dude, and you're fucked. You might as well pack it in and just stay home and go to sleep all day, because I'm sure they could point the laser, point the whatever right on the cancer. Once you get it in your pancreas, you're fucked, you guys, because all those veins and all the blood in that region, it's impossible to operate there. And same thing is true with the liver, the kidneys, and all that, the stomach. You're just fucked, like Toby Keith. There's almost no way to survive at that point. And I would recommend don't do chemo. You might get lucky, like the guy in Blink-182, where he had cancer in his shoulder and survived it. I think it will come back, though. It always does eventually. And sometimes it doesn't, you guys. But with Frank Zappa, he had prostate cancer and he died, you guys. It's sad. I'm not a doctor here. Don't take this as medical advice from me, Clark the Shark. But if they told me I had really bad cancer, I don't know if I would do chemo, you guys, just by the way that shit fucks you up. And if the doctors were to say, well, Clark the Shark, you might survive, there's, at least a 30% or 40% chance. Who knows? I might do it, but I don't know, I'm sad about Toby Keith. I didn't really like his music that much, but I don't really like country, you guys. But he, the person, might have been an okay guy. I don't know. I didn't know him, but it's sad, dude. Look how skinny that guy got. He just got emaciated and atrophied, probably more from the chemo, not the cancer, but he fucking died, dude. And I don't think they expected him to die. It was a shock when they found him dead in bed. I don't think his wife expected him to go. And with cancer, that's how it is. They just find you, if you're not doing the chemo or whatever, the treatments, they just find you in bed dead one morning, you guys. So say your prayers if there is a God. Or the Lord and all that, me, Clark the Shark, I know there's a God. I don't think Zappa believed in God. I'm not sure, but this guy was really a genius. He couldn't believe in God because he had like a level of intelligence that was like right there with God or something like that. But I believe in God, me, Clark the Shark, because of DNA, molecules, all the microscopic evidence, and, all the evidence of the solar system and all that shit, how we're the perfect distance from the sun and all that. I know there's a God 100%. And I pray to the Lord that you go easy on Frank Zappa. I don't want to see Frank in hell. I don't want to see anyone go there. And I hope there is no hell or there is no Satan. But sadly, you guys, I have a feeling that God is kind of a fucking dick and an asshole. And all that stuff in the Bible might be true, you guys. Maybe not like that. Maybe Adam and Eve and the world created in 6 days and all the Old Testament shit might not be completely 100% true, but it might be a metaphor. And that's what we all worry about. Like it's, speaking figurative. So even if you do or don't believe in God or whatever, you should pray to God in case there is a God. I would hate to think a genius like Frank Zappa went to hell. What a waste. What a fucking genius this guy was. And all he had to do was, just, okay, I don't believe in Jesus or Muhammad or Buddha or, Jehovah or whatever, Hindu, but he could at least say God every morning and say a prayer to God like I do, Clark the Shark. And all of you should too, because you never know. Just like Toby Keith, especially if you have cancer, you don't know if you won't wake up some morning, you guys. Some velvet morning when I'm straight, I'm gonna open up your gate and maybe tell you about Frankie Zappa, how he gave me life, how I made it in. Some velvet morning when I'm straight. Be prepared, you guys. Be ready. And be ready for 200 Motels. Get this album at Amazon, iTunes, Spotify, anywhere you can buy music. If you could find the vinyl, God bless you. If you can find the original fucking vinyl of this shit from way back in the day, let me tell you right now, it's worth like $10,000. If it's unopened from 1971, it's like it's worth $1 million or something, you guys. I doubt you'll ever find that. But keep searching right here on the Clark the Shark Show. And I'm out of here. Peace.